Hey everyone, it's Jenny here. Thanks for joining me. I'm out in my backyard. I want to show you something. Check out this. I mean, this is the first flowers of my magnolia coming out that's in my backyard. And I was looking at them this morning and I came out to do this broadcast and I thought, that's amazing. Like, how do they actually know when to do that? What drives them? And I know it's like, I know it's like, there's a biological imperative, right? There's a sort of genetic thing, but I'm just going back to my veranda. But it must be the same for us, right? And this is the thing that we're all asking about, which is, what's our soul purpose? Like we want to know what's driving us, what's coming from the inside. Talked about it yesterday as a prime directive, but really, it's an energetic. It's a soul. We have this divine light, this divine energy that is our divine light. It is the thing that comes from within us that helps us to know why we're here, what we're doing, but most of us don't know what it is. Look at my hair sticking up. Stop looking at yourself, Jenny. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is this whole idea of soul purpose, because my experience in working with women over the years is that at first this is not a question that we ask. It's when your kids leave home, or it's when you get into your 40s and maybe things aren't the way you want, and you just start to get this calling that something has to change. And can you hear the kookaburras? They're my favorite. I don't know if you can hear them. And so my experience has been that at some point women get to a stage where they feel like, I have a difference that I need to make, but I don't know what it is. And we start to ask this question about, what's my soul purpose? Like, why am I here? Because it is the thing that helps guide us. It is the thing that shows us that sort of is this energy of which way to go. And it is your truth. I mean, today we're on day 6 of Live Your Inner Truth. And the challenge today is to think about your soul purpose. It's to sit with me for a moment and reflect on your life, because it holds clues to what your soul purpose is. And this is probably the question that people ask me the most, is what is my soul purpose? Like, why am I here? What am I here to do? And my first answer is always, it's not what you're here to do, although you have a mission. It's who you're here to be that makes the difference. And how you do that might take many different forms, and probably will take many different forms when we think about career, when we think about parenting, when we think about friendships and relationships and things that we're passionate about. There are clues within that tell you what your soul purpose here is. And you do have one. You do have a divine purpose. You are here for a reason. There is a big picture to this whole thing. And for me, I think about soul purpose as it's like a big picture. And there's an even bigger picture, and I talked about that in one of my other videos, which is when I do work as an intuitive and I look at people's energy and I talk with guides and other spirit beings and tune into different interdimensionally, I often will be shown what is a bigger picture. And I think Anita Morjani and Wayne Dyer, who are a couple of people I really admire, have got this right, and a lot of other spiritual gurus as well. And that is that this life is like this giant tapestry. There's this energy that holds us all together. And like a medieval tapestry, it's like, the thousands, the millions of stitches it takes. Hi, Mish. The millions of stitches it takes to make a tapestry. And it's like a tapestry that goes on forever. And that every single one of us has one of those stitches. There is no repeat. You are the only one like that. And so, yes, you do. You absolutely have a purpose. There's such a uniqueness about you. And I know this because one of the things that happened to me is I started to see people's soul energy. So I call it soul signature. It's like an energy that describes this person. And it's so diverse. Everybody is so unique. They express this energy so differently, and it comes through in the reasons you choose. Thanks, Mish. The reasons that you choose the things that you do, the people that you hang out with, is because there's a resonance, and that resonance is something that you have with them, but it's also something you need to express when you're here. It influences your life choices. And most people, when I see them, are in a place where they're feeling a bit alone and directionless. And this is really common and happens, I think, definitely happens. There's a point midlife where most women start to ask this question, like, what's my purpose here? What am I doing? Where am I going? Because often what happens is that there's a change. There's something precipitates a change, whether it is it could be a relationship breakdown, it could be a change in career, it could be kids leaving home, it could be there's a whole host of reasons. Or you start to get to a point where you're thinking, okay, I've got this amount of my time left probably here in this existence. What am I going to do with it? And you have spent a lot of time already being that, you on purpose, being a mother, being a worker, being everything you've already been, all the passionate things you've already done. But I know there's a point at which women get to where it starts to this change that starts to happen, this shift in perception. And this shift in perception is about, where am I going? What's my purpose here? Why am I important? Because you are. And what am I supposed to do? I don't know what direction to go. And for me, this is the point at which I see most women. And it feels a bit like you feel a bit lost. Sometimes it's a health issue that precipitates it, and you know that a change has to happen, but you're not sure. It's tricky, because in order to move to the next, you've got to let go of the previous one, and you can sort of find yourself in this place of, sometimes it can feel like a dark place, and it feels like there's no light. You sort of get in here, and there's this sort of, it's kind of transition. Sometimes like a dark cave where you just feel like, I know I've got to go through this, but I'm not sure. Hear the kookaburras? I'm not sure how I get out the other side. I can't see the end of the tunnel. And that's what I help people do. And knowing your soul purpose is one of the things that really helps you. So it's like an inner calling. And I know you've probably experienced this at other times in your life. You've just known that something is right, that things are in alignment. It just seems to flow, because there's this divine intelligence, this pattern of energy that you are, that is directing, that is guiding. And it's an amazing feeling. I know you know what that's like, when you're in flow about something. And it's a kind of creative energy as well. We're an expansive being. And when you're not on track and you're feeling like it's maybe alone, directionless, a bit lost, the energy starts to contract, and it's a feeling of like, I don't know quite where I'm at. And because we are always in a state of change, you will move forward eventually. But knowing your soul purpose is one of the things that can certainly help you. It sort of brings that energy back. It brings you back into alignment. Because when you know you've got something greater to accomplish, that you do, then you feel like you have a purpose. And what that feels like is when you're on track, when you're in flow, when your intuition will be clear, your sort of synchronistic things will start to happen, will start to speed up, and your ability to manifest things will really improve. You sort of set your intention on something, and it just shows up. And the thing that I want to say is, people often mistake career for purpose. It's not about what you do, although you will express your soul purpose through the choices that you make. So it's not like people are here, and I say this from what I have seen when I have looked at people's energies, is that it's not that you're here to, for example, be a factory worker, or to be a teacher, or to be a lawyer, or it's not about being a career. What it is about is the energy of the you-ness that you bring to that choice. Because in some way, when you make those choices, it allows you to express something that is in alignment with your energy. It's in alignment with who you're here to be. So let me explain a bit more about that. Recently, I Let me go back a little. For those of you who know me, you know what I do. For those of you who are new to understanding my background, I was an art teacher many years ago, so I sort of have this creative energy, but I also, over the years, have learned to really tune in intuitively, and it is a learned thing. We all do it, and it's just the job that I was in, and my soul purpose has guided me as I look back, and if you do the same, you'll see clues, has guided me through which way to go. And what I've ended up doing is really honing my intuitive abilities, being able to shift my energy to understand, receive, send, and interpret energy messages, energy signals, energy patterns. And one of the things that I have done a lot is read people's energy, particularly as a medical intuitive. So I did that for a while. And I would look, people would come to me because I'm also trained in a lot of other energetic therapies, as well as coaching, as well as, sort of have both sides, the kind of the rational and the energetic. And I did a lot of work reading people's bodies, which just came to me gradually as I worked with people. Things would occur to me, information would occur to me, and I would figure out what I need to do with that. And then gradually it would be intentional. So I started to read what's happening in someone's body, and people would come to me and ask, why do I have headaches? Why do I have this? What's my indigestion caused by? What's blah, blah, blah. And I would read what's going on. I would look by distance, not while the person is there. I would tune in, be able to see what's happening, and I would get information about what the origin of it is and how to help resolve it, what the next steps were to resolve it. And, it can be emotional, physical, spiritual, chemical, you name it, all kinds of things would come up. And then more recently, someone asked me a different question. Someone asked me, can you read my intuition? I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, can you look at how I'm supposed to use my intuition? And that was a really different question. I had never asked that question of anybody's energy, of guides, I had never asked that question. And when I asked that question, I got given a different answer. And so suddenly another part of my journey opened up. And when I asked that question, they showed me her life purpose. And I was quite taken aback because it was not something I expected to see. And I guess it's part of my involvement was things come at the right time. And so I saw how her intuition was, how she used it. She just moved into a new field being a coach. And I could see that her life purpose, her intuition was part of her life purpose, but the way that she was going to use it was as a vision holder. And I talked about this in one of my other previous videos. But I'm also going to tell you about some other people's energy, because I want you to help you understand what it's like to see someone's soul purpose. It's a privilege, and it's amazing. It's not something I do, it's just something someone helps me with. And so she's a vision holder, and that means what they helped me understand was that that's her purpose. When she sits with someone and holds that vision with them, she empowers that vision so much that it will come to be. And when I told her that, she just looked at me stunned, because she said, that's exactly what I do. She said, I have never had anybody actually explain that to me. I am completely stunned by that, because she said, I even told my husband a few years ago, I see you doing X, Y, Z. And she said, he just looked at me and said, I don't think so. And she said, that's what he's actually doing now. She said, it just makes so much sense. So when you, thanks Mish, it is fascinating. I find it completely fascinating, because I never know what's going to show up in someone's field. And what this soul purpose is going to look like. And it's sort of like when I do it, it goes in through the heart. It goes in through the heart, and I have to go in through the heart, and then I find this kind of core little, and sometimes it's a little picture, often it's a little symbol. And so this was the first time that this had been shown to me. And I thought, I don't know if that's right. So, with great trepidation, I shared that with her, only to discover she was absolutely and totally blown away that was so spot on, and helped her understand why she'd chosen things in the past, why certain roles and why she'd found herself in this role. That's what I mean about it's not the coaching, it's who she can be in this role that is so spot on and in alignment for her. And so she says to me all the time when people work with her, because she's a health coach, they absolutely and totally get their outcomes and are blown away. It's because she's so in the right job. So someone else I know whose energy or soul signature, I call it soul signature because it's like a signature. There is only one. Someone else's was a storyteller, and it was a bit weird. I thought, okay, what does that mean? And so, you can have a conversation with guides and spirits. You can just ask more questions. That's a tip I want to give you. I said, what do you mean? And so I sat with it for a while, and what the explanation was is that she is really good, is that she gathers information. She's really good at being able to pick up all information and bring it all together to make a story. And when I say it's not like, sitting around the fire telling a story, it's like she's able to gather information about things and actually piece it together so that it becomes a complete, comprehensive, sort of makes sense story. And her job is a feng shui expert. So isn't that really interesting? That because that's what she does, is she's able to gather what is sometimes not able to be seen, and it's all kinds of bits of information about a person and their house and their location and the energy of that place, and bring it together to help make a story about how their energies work together, what isn't working, and how they can change it. And it is like telling them, the owner, a story. So there is these other, this soul purpose, and it's a great privilege to be able to look and see. And the reason why it's so important is because you suddenly realise what's been guiding your life. And I might not be using the exact words because it's like translating what I'm seeing, which is an energy pattern, into words. And so I will often see a little picture as well. So one person that I looked at who is actually one of my mentors, my spiritual gurus, she let me have a look at her soul signature, and her soul signature looks like a diamond. It's not a diamond, but what it looked like was something that had all these facets on it that reflected light. And when I thought, what is that? And when I went into the feeling, so I go into the feeling and I go into the what is that? The description of it was, and this is my words for, she's got all these light facets that she's actually an interdimensional journeyer and guide. I mean, how's that for but it totally fits her experience. She's already had 2 crossing over experiences, so she's died and come back twice. She is a sort of elder spiritual guru. No wonder that's her soul purpose. And when I told her that, she just went absolutely spot on. So how interesting is it to know what your soul purpose is? Someone else, I'll give you one more example, is, and this was for someone's husband. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it. I won't say who. His description, he looks like this energy that has these ripples coming out. So as I say, I see pictures. It's like when you see, an icon for someone holding a speaker, and it's got those little things coming out the front. That's what his energy looks, his soul signature looks like. I thought, okay, that's strange. And what the words that came to me to describe this was sonic wave controller. And what he actually does is he's actually able to control sound vibration. If he were to move into healing, that's how he would do it. And he is a healer, he just doesn't work as one. In fact, he actually works in some ways in the sound industry. He has worked he sets up sound things and light things for bands and stuff like that. So it's really interesting how he came to sort of be in the same field. So I wonder what clues you would look for in your life as to what you'll be able to see something that is guiding your purpose here. There is a pattern. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about what the other really powerful part of your purpose, which is your I am, or also called by some other people that I really admire, that is called your magic. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. But for today, You know, the question is, do you really need to know your soul purpose? And the answer is, you don't really need to know, because you will be guided by your intuition. You will be guided when something doesn't work. It will stop flowing. When you're not going in the right direction, here's my kookaburras, you will feel it. But do you really need to know? Not really. But do you want to know? I guess you probably do. My experience with this is, once you do know, it just makes sense to you. You suddenly have this expansive vision of how things have fitted together for you in your life, why you've been doing what you've been doing. When it comes to me, I haven't been able to actually put words to what I do, but here's my best description. It's harder to do it for myself. My best description of my soul purpose is, I'm an energy changer. So my energy looks like something that has kind of unfirm boundaries. And when I saw that, I thought, well, what? Don't really understand that. What I've come to understand is, my purpose is, and the way that I am in the world is, I'm able to change my shape or my energy to move, to understand somebody else, to change into their, it's a sort of an empathy thing. But it's also an ability, as I've evolved, to read other people's energy, to shift mine into theirs, to be able to read it, to see it, and also to heal. So that's why I ended up being a healer. So I have helped people heal, and then I've helped people understand their own energy and help people shift help you shift your energy so that you can move forward, have direction, you know, the confidence and courage that you're looking for in your own life. So, where am I at? I hope that's been interesting. If you find that interesting, leave me a comment. That's where I'm at. It helps, maybe that helps you understand my experience with what soul purpose is and living your soul purpose. You're doing it anyway. If you want to know more about your soul purpose, if you're at a time where you are finding that you're stuck or you don't know what direction, and this is something you really want to know in order to move forward, you can book in to talk to me about my Soul Signature program. That's a one-to-one program that I do. It's a series over 6 months, but you can book in to just have a chat with me, and you can do that online. I'll leave the link, or you can email me if you want to have a chat about, just to discover where you're at, how I might be able to help. I can tell you more about it. So I hope that's interesting, and I would be interested in your feedback about what you think your soul purpose is, whether you find this topic interesting. And tomorrow, if you tune in, I'm going to talk about your magic. I'm going to talk about your what I call your I am. And this is like extremely powerful. This is like the thing that motivates. If your soul purpose is your big picture, it's like the who you're here to be, and it sort of guides the reason that you choose to do what you do here. Your I am is the thing that provides the power. It's this really, and it's one word that only, and I don't know what it will be for you. It's just one word that at the same time is so empowering and scary. And it's amazing, and it's changed people's lives, the people that I've worked with. So I look forward to talking to you about that then. And so your job today is have a think about, how have I come to where I am? Think about it, this is at a deeper level. Maybe use some of the things I've already talked about in my other videos, which is you can use the microcosmic orbit to just get yourself back to being in alignment, which is using the breathing. You can use the 7 questions that I gave yesterday, which is overcoming overthinking, so that you can get out of your head and back into your heart and back in alignment. Any of those will bring you into a space or a meditation where you can just start to actually reflect on your life, where you've been, and the clues that help you understand what your soul purpose is. Or if you want to work with me and you feel guided, connected, get in touch, email me, or book in for a discovery call. Okay, thanks for being here, and talk to you again soon. Bye.